What is up, Level Up Live, and welcome to the September 26th edition of OTN's Level Up Live, your home for the hottest takes in gaming news. My name is Fiasco, but you can call me John, and I am joined, as always, by the king of the courtside, the courtside king, Joey. What's up, buddy?
Doing well, good sir. This delay is it's gonna be an adjustment over here for me, I think. A little bit of a change as I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh, I'm probably on camera now, aren't I? Things are well, John. It's been a busy week at work, but I'm still alive. We're still kicking here. There's been a lot going on in gaming as well. We had a state of play this week from PlayStation. Tokyo Game Show's kicking off. I feel like there's so many games coming out as well. Like, we haven't played Age of Mythology yet. We've been talking about that for like a week. I think Aura History Untold just recently came out. There's a new Zelda game coming out. Starfield's expansion is like coming out in a couple days. I just feel like there is way too much going on in gaming right now.
Yeah, it's been popping. And Joey, I do have to ask you, we were talking about it earlier today. Have you at least listened to the song for Worlds 2024 for League of Legends yet?
That was supposed to be my homework before the show, and I haven't. I've listened to like not the knockoff version, but the From a Distance version from the concert in Germany. So I have not heard the actual like studio edited version as of yet, just the live version.
And you haven't seen the amazing music video that Riot put together in the arcane style animation. It is.
So that I have seen. I watched the video on mute while I was on a call before.
Joey, I hate you so much.
The animation stopped here. I agree. Animation looks great. It seems like the song is getting some mixed reviews, though. I'm a little disappointed. I think I'm going to like it a lot, but I'm seeing a lot of 7s and 8s.
It's mixed reviews because everyone was expecting a, quote, K-pop banger. Look,
is that such a thing?
it's League of Legends. Like, it doesn't have to be K-pop every year. It really doesn't have to be K-pop every year. And then I think one of the other complaints I saw was that the band Linkin Park got more screen time than Faker did. No. Literally, I think Linkin Park got a total amount of screen time of about 17 to 18 seconds. Faker was on there for probably a good minute. And I don't want to hear about it. I think people are complaining not about the song, but about the music video.
So I've seen the opposite. I've seen a lot of people love the video or not quite as high on the song. But I get it, right? Like, when you're Riot, you're trying to get different genres of music. Some are going to hit with some people, others are going to hit with others, and some like the more poppy style, or the K-pop in this case, potentially. I don't know. I think I'm going to like it, at least from the live version I heard, and just knowing Linkin Park. So my expectations are high. I don't know if it's a 10 out of 10 for me, but I think it'll probably be right around a 9 or so.
I mean, look, it's a banger of a song. It's a classic Linkin Park formula for a song. That's all I'm going to say. Definitely gives me Meteora vibes, their second studio album. I wish I could play it live on stream without receiving a copyright. Warner Brothers Music. I'm not good friends with them. I don't have any connections there, so I can't get that sign off. Mike, I caught you from the pit several years ago. Pretty sure that's not going to work either for the copyright strike. So, in Hoosies, Joey, we have a lot to talk about today. But first, Nation, homework. Make sure you follow the show on Twitter or X or whatever Elon's calling it this go around, and Facebook at OTN Media. You can follow it on Threads and Instagram as well. It's at OTN_media. And while you're on the social medias, we made it easier for you. Follow Joey at Courtside King. Follow myself at Is This Thing John. If you're watching here live on YouTube, first off, I'm glad you found it. I'm glad you found the live stream, because it was a pain in the butt getting this thing up and going today. We're noobs when it comes to YouTube is what we're trying to say. So we thank you for bearing with us while we struggle to learn the platform coming over from the other streaming platform. We appreciate that as well. And Nation, while the live show on YouTube is always going to be the place to be for your best entertainment and live reactions and funny facial expressions, we do have the podcast version of the show, the LvLUp podcast, available on your podcatcher of choice, available roughly 24 hours after the show is done. Why do I say that? Because I get sidetracked easily. And by easily, I mean, what, Joey? It took me like a week to do episode 342.
It took a hot minute. Yeah.
So, yeah, your boy sees a shiny object and I get distracted. So, roughly 24 hours. Extra credit not available on YouTube. Sorry, just follow along, give us a like, subscribe to the channel as we try to grow the channel here as well. Joey, we talked about it a little bit at the top of the show. What are the hot topics we are hitting on today for LvLUp Live?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So for those new to us or more new to the show in general over here, we've kind of been doing a format where we work our way through the platforms, kicking things off with Nintendo. We have a few things over there, from a game review of the new Legend of Zelda game, as well as a mystery device that The Verge has uncovered. Over to PlayStation, we have the State of Play that happened this week, showing a number of games from first and third party, as well as some updates alongside that showcase and a price for that PS5 Pro 30th Anniversary Edition. That did go live today. I know a lot of people unfortunately missed out on getting that, but the price tag is something they can now throw into a bank account because they saved a ton of money based on what we saw on that one. And then over on Xbox, we have the Tokyo Game Show kicking off, and Xbox has done their showcase over there. So we'll be touching on that, what they showed in the showcase for their Eastern audience and beyond, as well as talking a little bit about a mobile app merge, Starfield Shattered Space coming soon, and much more. And then in our multi-plat general gaming news section, we have some Ubisoft updates. Some okay, some not so great. We have NVIDIA's GTX 5090 also coming out pretty soon. And then Sonic Central, the showcase for our Sega Sonic fans. Lots of good stuff there as well. And I did not update the free Epic Games for this week, so I'll try to do that before we get down to that section at the end of the show.
Womp, womp. All right, we have our topics. We have Joey's in the show homework as well, Joey, which means before we hop into the show, of course, if you're new to us here on YouTube, we do a thing called Drink of Choice. If you're listening to the podcast version or coming over from Twitch, you're familiar with this because we've done it 343 other times. So why not 344 times? Joey, your drink of choice for today's episode.
Absolutely. We're not quite in October yet, but I am going with a Sam Adams Oktoberfest to get ready to kick off the month.
Oktoberfest takes place in September.
Yeah, well, we are in September. So heidi ho, my German friends.
Heidi ho is not the proper greeting, but we'll go with it. Joey,
Guten Tag? My German is excellent, guys. I'm telling you.
To our German listeners out there, I am very sorry.
I need to work on that throaty sound that they can get there, like Guten Tag. All
right, I think you just committed like 14 war crimes with that. Anywho, I was perusing the amazing store that is Wegmans earlier today. Not sponsored. Would more happy to be sponsored by Wegmans if that ever came around. Found a cider because your boy likes hard cider.
Ooh.
A Beak and Skiff 1911 cider donut.
Oh,
hard cider donut style. So I got turned on to donut flavored hard cider a couple years ago. There was a pub near George Mason University, Joey and I's alma mater, that had a local brewery from Virginia. Had a apple donut cider, and it was the best thing ever. They had a snickerdoodle cider that was freaking like a cookie with alcohol in a bottle. It was amazing. Diabetes in a bottle, if you will. Simple as that too. It was absolutely delicious. So I'm going to give this one a try. Live reactions here on YouTube. Hold on. Yeah, that's good. That's dangerous.
Just out of curiosity, have you ever had an apple cider donut before?
Yes.
Those are good too.
Very good. It's gluten-free.
Oh.
Handcrafted in New York. 6.9 alcohol by volume. Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's Joey, we need to have a drink review show is what we really need to do.
Hey, that would be fun.
That is fantastic. I'm going to be enjoying sipping on this the entire show, just as much as I'm going to be enjoying talking about all of our amazing topics here today, which, skipping the transition because we're not sponsored by anything at the moment. All right, Joey, up first is our good friends from the Red Brand, a.k.a. Nintendo, a.k.a. Where is my Switch 2? But Joey, we go over to Nintendo.
Absolutely. I feel like we had a lot of Nintendo drama last week, so much more silent on the Nintendo front this time. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is coming out very soon. Reviews are dropped. I want to say it launched today or it launches tomorrow. But so far from reviews, we're looking at an 85 on Metacritic and an 86 on OpenCritic. So not the greatest of games, but a pretty darn good game overall, rating in that top percentage there. One of the better rated games of the year, I believe, as well. With that being said, I really like the fact, and we touched on this a little bit last week, that they're going with the Zelda as the main character here. We typically see the main character as Link, but now taking the route of Zelda, I think kind of brings something unique to this franchise. We have seen her playable a little bit here and there. Probably the most common being Super Smash Brothers. You can play as Zelda and Sheik in a few different versions of that. But overall, now getting a mainline game, playing as Zelda herself, kind to, I believe you're rescuing Link as well. Not 100% sure on that, but a little bit of a reverse role here. And I love the creativity aspect of it as well. Not to go too much into like spoilers of the game, but there's obviously an ability that's been shown in trailers where you can copy different objects, save them into a book, and then replicate those objects through magic. So you can make, say, a staircase out of beds. You can cross a river by making lily pads that get copied, or by throwing down a carpet or different things. Obviously, carpets might not float in rivers, so be careful with that one. But there's a lot of different fun ways to use objects here to kind of traverse the map and the different locales and such as it goes, to kind of work your way through the different storyline playing as Zelda. So I think fun new take there, obviously scoring quite well with critics so far. Anything else to say on Zelda, John? I know you do not have a Switch at the moment, considering that jump for a Switch 2, potentially, depending on what that ends up looking like.
Yeah, possibly. We'll see what happens. I know a lot of people who own Switches do not play said Switches. So that is going to be something that I'm going to have to seriously consider as well before I go about dropping that kind of coin. Because, as you know, things are expensive these days. Inflation is not friendly.
Yes, indeed.
And I already have an Xbox and Game Pass and a gaming PC. So my question is, do I really need a Nintendo Switch? The answer is I love Pokemon. So probably yes. Probably yes.
Yeah, maybe they'll eventually change up Pokemon games and make them interesting again. But for now, we'll have to wait a little while. The next one comes in 2025. But Nintendo does another mystery for us, Sean. The Verge has uncovered this one based on a filing to the Federal Communications Commission, the good old FCC, for those following gaming news over the last year. Well, this one is not the Switch 2 console, but it does look like it is some kind of device. The CLO001 model number doesn't reveal what exactly it is, according to this Verge article, but it appears to be an entirely new product line given the 001 codes. So what does this mean? Well, it's tagged as a wireless device, not a wireless game console or any kind of controller like a Joy-Con. A basic diagram within the document shows an outline of where the FCC label will be displayed, so on and so forth. So, John, what is your guess at what this device is? It almost looks like a puck from the little bit we're seeing here. Is it something like we've seen like Xbox consider, like with a cloud gaming route? Is it something that could maybe be an add-on? We've seen Nintendo make, like, for example, the watch for Pokemon Go. Could this be a small device like that? Could it be something for Mario Kart? Maybe a different kind of steering wheel? We have seen Xbox kind of led the way with the adaptive controller, and then PlayStation made their own adaptive controller afterwards. Could this be a Nintendo Switch adaptive controller? It doesn't name itself as a controller, but a wireless device does kind of keep things open-ended as well.
Yeah. So from this diagram, with it being the bottom side, are we assuming that it's the middle rectangle that we're thinking about as a puck, or are we looking at a larger rectangle kind of device here?
I think it's the larger, would be my guess.
Borderline pager-esque, if you will, which pagers are a hot topic in the news lately, but we won't touch on that. Nonetheless, the first thing that came to mind was the Pokeball that connected to the Switch, that you could do like Pokemon Go things with on your Switch, like for Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. When that came out, that was the first thing, was a side device like that, some kind of companion device that will help progress whatever game it's attached to, maybe when you're not playing on the Switch. That's really the first thing that popped in my mind. It looks like The Verge kind of has the same kind of take on it as well. And Joey, you mentioned it too. It does seem like it's going to be some kind of companion device to a big game, whether it's like a Mario Kart, a Mario Party, whether it's a Pokemon. it feels like if Nintendo's going to go with an accessory to the Switch, then that's probably what it's going to be like. It's going to be tied to a very specific game. Yeah, definitely too small to be anything as a console. So yeah, not enough information really. So it's all pure speculation, just based upon what Nintendo has done in the past 10, 15 years. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards is some kind of companion device.
Well, this is interesting. So The Verge has a couple more guesses toward the bottom. A new gesture control interface. They also mentioned maybe a device for Super Nintendo World theme parks. I know they have the bracelets at Disney, so maybe this could be something along those lines. And then a quality of life sleeping tracker. I know this has been something Nintendo has freaking tried to do so many times now. I think there's the Pokemon Sleep app eventually did launch. Maybe this could be something to go alongside that. That's always a possibility. It's tough to tell with the scale though, right? Like, yes, it's a box, but how big is that box? What are we looking at? Is it a watch size box? Is it an actual puck size box, like a Roku device? Yeah, it's super open-ended right now. So a lot of different fun ideas. I'd love to hear your guys' speculation as well over on X or Twitter. discord.me/OTN. Always fun to have conversations over there as well. But for now, just a mystery piece of hardware that is supposedly not a game console.
So in the comments section, because, nothing but pure gold. It's going to be a Nintendo version of a smart speaker, but it answers in the voice of Waluigi.
Oh, that I would buy that actually.
I would buy that
not
also.
Even gonna lie.
Let's see here. All comments. Let's see here. Nintendo Wi-Fi hotspots. Okay.
Interesting.
Let's see here. Worst idea is that it's a Wii Mini you control with just your hands instead of Wii remotes.
Oh gosh, that would be terrible.
Street Pass belt clip accessory.
No, please no.
Nintendo game streaming device. I don't think it's gonna be a streaming device.
I feel like the Switch already is in and of itself.
Yeah, and like if you make a streaming device, then you kind of let people have an out from buying your Switch, especially if it was been waiting so long for the Switch 2. There's really no point in having some kind of accessory that will let you stream games on your TV without a Switch.
Right. Agreed.
Let's see. Actual prediction: the Switch 2 dock is going to have the screen exposed so it can show you funny clocks and widgets. And no, okay. Again, some of these are good. Some of these are not very good. Oh, okay. Theory: Switch 2 is going to go in on motion tracking, which with the goal of having VR as a selling point for Switch 2. Based upon the specs that we have heard, rumored, and leaked possibly for the Switch 2, I highly doubt that. That is a lot of hardware for a Switch 2 to handle.
I would agree.
And that sleek, slim, streamlined design is not going to... I don't.
No, I think that would be rough.
Maybe in the future, maybe in Switch 5 we'll have VR. If we even get there. There you go, Connect. Here we go. Or maybe Nintendo's finally ready to make up for the Virtual Boy. Joey, the Virtual Boy, I remember the Virtual Boy. I remember playing the Virtual Boy in Walmart when that thing came out. Yes, I am a boomer, it feels like. Have you ever seen the Virtual Boy?
I feel like I've seen it, but I've never actually touched or played on one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to take a trip down memory road here real quick. We're going to go sidetracked real quick. This thing was ahead of its time. My personal argument, probably wrong, but this thing was an absolute nightmare. So we're just going to bring this over here. We're going to go to good old fancy Wikipedia.
Yes.
This was the Virtual Boy. So it was essentially like every VR headset, except this gave you a tripod, so you didn't have to like wrap it around your head. Connected with a funky looking controller, which is on par for Nintendo. But please somebody have, so that's what you put your face into. You have your little red screens in here.
It looks like a projector meets like one of those tennis baseball shooter things.
Can you imagine if Walmart put this out nowadays with COVID and all the other fun stuff going around? This would not go over well. But yeah, so essentially you'd have your stereotypical like 3D layout with your red and blue. Obviously, you're looking through two lenses, so like your 3D glasses, so it wouldn't look like this. It would be out in 3D, essentially creating the Virtual Boy take here for that. And yeah, I mean, that's literally what you looked like in Walmart or GameStop when you were doing that. You looked absolutely ridiculous while playing it.
Oh gosh, that makes me dizzy looking at that.
But yeah, so that's
that screenshot. Whew.
Yeah, it's fun. Oh, I forgot you're waiting for the delay, so it's like a 15
Yeah, I'm
second
super behind, so I'm trying to catch up a little bit.
We'll fix the latency next go around, Joey. We'll figure it out by then.
That blue and red screenshot though, that makes my eyes go crooked. I feel like.
Of course.
Wow, good times, good times. I will give you credit though. I do think you're right. I think it was before its time. I mean,
It
VR
really
is
was.
still not fully caught on now, but it's definitely much bigger, and that seems to be kind of an early stage of it for sure. Between that and like the HoloLens,
Virtual Boy was literally it was so badass. But the problem is like it was like playing the original Donkey Kong in 3D, so it still looked weird. But because you got to see like all 3-dimensional sides of it, and like it was like popping out at you, you're like, "Whoa, this was so cool!" And then now look where we're at, like 20 years later. And we're just like, okay, this is ridiculous.
right? Much more realistic looking,
Right?
much heavier, much more expensive.
A lot more expensive. I think the Virtual Boy was $199.
Yeah, that's my kind of VR right there.
Which $199 back in the day was probably close to about $499 present day. And
that's still cheaper, I feel like, than VR, right? VR's got to be north of that.
Not the MetaQuest. MetaQuest 2 is like $299, I believe.
Oh, that's not too bad. Okay.
I mean, the MetaQuest 2 is not a bad price, but like you take a look at like Apple Pro Vision or Vision Pro, whatever.
Oh, that thing's absurd.
You're literally paying, for a full semester of college just to buy the thing. So yeah,
just Apple things, right?
In-state tuition. In-state. You're not paying that out of state. Out of state, you can buy 7 of those. But that's neither here nor there.
Okay, let's move from the Nintendo mystery device over to PlayStation. PlayStation's had a good week for the most part, John. Their state of play here came out, a little bit of a banger. Not the highest of ratings on Jeff Keighley's scale. I feel like everyone's been rating really poorly on that scale ever since maybe like the Xbox Summer Showcase. But a lot of these other showcases definitely falling flat on Keighley's scale. With that being said, I feel like there was some good stuff in here. Astrobot, obviously, newly released game, did exceptionally well at launch. Sales maybe have not quite been as good. We're still trying to see what those sales numbers are, but the rumor is that it has not sold quite as well as people expected. With that being said, it is one of the highest rated games from critics this year. Looks like a great Game of the Year contender. And we now know it is getting some new content. Team Asobi has announced Astrobot will receive new speedrun levels and 10 new special bots to rescue from this fall. I love this. I think when you put out a good game like this, a great platformer, and the ability to just kind of say new content is coming pretty quickly after launch, I think is really good. Because one, you have the players who already beat it, and two, you have those players who are constantly working their way through it this month, as it just released, like, I think a couple weeks ago. They're still working their way through, and now they have more content to come. So it's like, oh, maybe I don't have to finish it all now. I have some more stuff to come. Or those gamers who did finish are like, oh, I'm not going to delete this off my storage because there's new stuff coming down the road. So I do like that they're following this up pretty nicely with some good content there. One of the other bigger games, John, is Ghost of Yotei. I don't think either one of us has had a chance to play Ghost of Tsushima yet, but that game did extremely well on PlayStation platforms before, has now made its way over to PC as well, and then Ghost of Yotei will be following this up. It's going to introduce a new protagonist, who I believe is a female, a new story to unfold, and a new region of Japan to explore, coming to PS5 next year. PlayStation's been criticized a lot this year for having a lack of first-party game releases. A lot of their big releases have been carried by third-party, like Stellar Blade in April. Obviously, Astrobot did land well for them here in the fall, but that followed up a very poor launch from Concord as well, their multiplayer live service game. So it is nice to see them kind of going back a little bit to their roots, putting out a big first-party game early in 2025. And this should be a nice launch there, as Ghost of Tsushima, again, was up for a lot of nominations, won some big awards at Game Award shows the year it came out. And it looks like Ghost of Yotei could win quite a few as well based on this early trailer. Anything to say on either Astrobot or Ghost of Yotei, good sir?
No, I wish I had a PlayStation. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a system seller, in my opinion. When you look at stuff like Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei, two games that deliver really well, they kind of take a little bit of what people have been hoping for from an Assassin's Creed game for a while, and they should get some of in Assassin's Creed Shadows. This does a very good job of kind of bringing it together, pulling that like lifelike art style, I would call it, but also kind of a cool painted aspect to certain areas as well. It kind of blends them together very nicely, and it's a really cool way of exploring a fictional version of Japan. Then we have Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Sony with a remastered game. Big surprise there. I know. Everyone, please hold the applause. This is another interesting one. So it seems to be a theme with PlayStation. They're trying to find ways to plug holes of new content because it does take them a while to develop some of these games unless you're Insomniac, who somehow finds a way to put out games like every other year. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is supposed to plug some holes in this lineup. It is set to launch October 31st on PlayStation 5 and PC, featuring over 10 hours of re-recorded conversation, mocap, and countless graphical improvements that bring the game to the same visual fidelity as its critically acclaimed sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, and takes full advantage of PS5's power and features. So what is everyone having issues with? Yes, it's a remaster. Yes, people don't like remasters. The issue, John, is that they have raised the price of the base game by $10, and then they said, oh, but that upgrade you want, the one we just announced, that's going to be another $10 on top of the raised price we just raised. So they pretty much doubled the price of what this game was for this remastered edition, which is kind of wild to me given the fact that PlayStation and Xbox are giving a lot of these remasters out for free upgrades.
They went full Nintendo on this, right? You know, Nintendo's notorious for doing a remaster or a remake of a game and charging full price. I think this is a scummy move to raise the price of the base game and then raise it again when you announce the remake. I just think that's scummy, right? You know, you're essentially trying to price gouge people who may be excited or want to dive into this game before the remake comes out, or the remaster, I should say. I don't know. I think it's scummy. I think it's on par for Sony. I think it's on par for how they view a lot of things. I mean, Joey, this is also the same company that invented backwards compatibility. You knew that, right? Sony invented that a couple years ago. But yeah, I mean, this is also the same company that would let people into the PlayStation 5 showroom, but don't you dare think about putting one of your filthy little fingers on the console. You can only view it from a safe distance of 6 feet apart because PlayStation 5 can actually contract COVID as well. It's not proven. It's just sarcasm, people. It's okay. Yeah, it's on par for Sony. It's really on par for what Sony's been doing for the past 5-7 years. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. It sucks. It sucks for gamers. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous. You're going to jack the price up and double the base price of the game, just because you're doing a remaster. I don't like it.
I mean, it is absurd to me. Mm-hmm. Like if you scroll down in this article, the price change graph, this game was $30 in 2018. Yeah. Now in 2024, you're going to increase the price by $10?
Absolutely. Why not?
So absurd to me. And the other thing, my other issue with all these remasters in general, who is asking for them to re-record voice lines? Who is asking for this? And some of the new images they posted, there's one where the arrow is clipping through the bow. Like, if we're going to remaster it, like, at least let's polish these things up, right? Like, this frustrates me. And it's like you said, and it's what some people worried about, right? Like, if Xbox gets pushed out of the competition, this is something that could become more prominent potentially with some of these price changes. And that's the scary thing about not having competitors. That's where competitors in industries is very important. So it's very interesting. I mean, I get the idea of charging a little bit more for a remaster, especially if you recorded a bunch of mocap, you recorded a bunch of voiceovers. Sure, I get it. But moving the baseline price up to make the other price look better seems absurd to me. I just hate that practice, especially for something that has gone 6 years with being $10 less. Why increase it now is just crazy to me. And again, the other thing is, like, I mean, it's not just Xbox. Xbox is definitely a prominent player in it. We've seen it on PC. I think we've seen it a little bit on Nintendo as well, where a lot of when a new console comes out, especially with the Xbox, I know it's probably the best example. I think PC has done it for some graphics cards. Don't quote me on that. But you have this addition where they find ways of improving graphics, whether it's through a refresh rate thing, whatever it may be, and then they just give you the upgraded version for free. Or you have the option of buying a bundle that includes the old gen version and the new gen version. That's the way EA kind of does things now. So you don't have to buy Madden twice. You can buy one edition of Madden and you can get the old version and the new version. This to me is the opposite of that practice. It's not, let's make it easier for the consumer. It's let's charge the consumer $10 more than we've been charging for the same product for 6 years. That to me is more absurd than the $10 increase on the remaster part. It's just the fact the baseline is moving up is just crazy to me. Extremely frustrating, ladies and gentlemen. Not happy about that one. We did see some other good stuff, though. LEGO Horizons Adventure. Alloy makes her return to PS5 in a few short months as LEGO Horizon Adventures launches on November 14th. Again, that is going to close out, I believe, Sony's first party for this year. It looks like a fun adventure. Obviously not going to pull in the big hardcore fans of, say, God of War, even Horizon Zero Dawn, potentially, because LEGO is a little bit more niche. With that being said, I think they've done a good job with this game. I think it's going to be a fun LEGO game, and it'll be right on par with some of what we've seen with the Star Wars and Harry Potter ones. Definitely worth considering when that launches. I want to say I think this one has already been announced for Switch and PC. If it hasn't, guys, it will be coming to both of those. I think it's been publicly announced. But if not, look forward to it on those two platforms. I don't know if we'll ever see it on Xbox, but Switch and PC, it will eventually be making its way to. PlayStation 5 Pro, we had a nice little look at that, John, and I think this would probably be a good time to chat a little bit about your price thought from last week. So we talked about the PS5 Pro 30th anniversary pricing. We talked about how the Pro edition itself was, I believe, $700. And John said, well, that means the anniversary edition has got to be over $1,000. And ladies and gentlemen, ding, 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 John was correct. The Australian price there at $1,649. And I believe the US conversion on that, I'm not 100% sure on the final pricing, but just on that Australian conversion, we're looking at $1,125 US dollars based on that Australian number. John, not only is it over 1,000, but it's over 1,100 really overall if that conversion is all correct.
Yeah, so I hopped on our friendly website called The Verge. Good people over there. I'm gonna scroll down here real quick. Pre-order at the same time, the Sony retro-styled 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 Pro bundle, $999.99 US. So they did knock it down a little bit for the US market. So your conversion for the Australian dollar to the US dollar is correct. But our Sony overlords were nice enough to knock off $126, which will be made up in taxes because God bless America. The PS5 Digital Slim is $500. PlayStation Portal is $220. DualSense controllers are going to be $80, and the DualSense Edge, because, you know, what makes you feel like a badass other than paying almost the same price as your literally half the price of your PlayStation, than, you know, buying a controller for half the price. It's so stupid. Anywho, yeah, so $1,000 for your PlayStation 5 bundle, depending upon your state tax and where you live. It's going to be probably close to about $1,100 after everything's all said and done. Yeah. Joey, you and I play League of Legends.
We've dabbled, yes.
We've dabbled here and there. I play World of Warcraft. You have dabbled as well.
I have.
If there's one thing that gamers, especially in games where microtransactions are a thing and reskins are a thing, like different models and different colors are a thing, if there's one thing gamers hate, it is having to pay more for just a recolor of something that's already in the game. Like imagine if Kennen, the beloved Ninja Yordle in League of Legends, if his first 3 skins weren't just his tunic going from purple to red to green to white. And oh yeah, by the way, that's going to cost you about $7 US to buy each of those recolor skins. Just to play, nothing special about it. No special voice lines, no special nothing. It's just a good old-fashioned reskin color, or what they now call chromas. Yes. Yeah, right? And you have to pay for those chromas, or you have to buy the bundle to get the chromas included, which cost more up front, but you save later down the road if you buy them individually. Anywho, that's all this PlayStation 5 30th anniversary is a freaking reskin, right? All they did was slap gray panels on instead of white panels for the PlayStation 5. And they're like, oh my gosh, it looks like the PlayStation 1. No, it doesn't look like the PlayStation 1. Slapping gray panels on it doesn't make it look like the PlayStation 1. Your $220 controller, just because it's got the PlayStation 1 gray on it, still looks like a PlayStation 5 controller. It does not look anything like a PlayStation 1 controller. You want to charge this amount of money? Here's a crazy idea. Put the PS5 components inside a larger version of a PlayStation 1 console. How about you do that? Do that. Like, actually go full retro on this and make it look like a PlayStation 1. Like, actually physically, not like the gigantic router or slim router that you've made out your PlayStation 5 to be. I mean, it makes no sense. Joey, you and I know people that are going to be buying this.
Mm-hmm.
It's sold out, which goes to mention that consumerism is out of control and people are idiots when it comes to spending money. Again, financial advice by a guy who spent well over $1,000 in League of Legends, so take it with a grain of salt. I could have bought a PlayStation 5 30th anniversary edition with all the money I've spent in League, Joey.
You could have.
Probably could have bought it twice, if I'm being honest. Anywho,
that's terrifying.
we're not going to talk about that. But what all I'm trying to say is this is freaking ridiculous. And I'm glad it's a limited time thing. I'm glad it's a small release because if this was available, I have a feeling more and more people would buy it. There is no advantage to getting the 30th anniversary edition. There's no component upgrade. It is literally just a different color plastic slapped on the body of a PlayStation 5, and they're going to upcharge you $200.
It's a nostalgia hit, baby. That's why people want it. They get those classic memories of the PS1 and their new slick PS5 Pro.
There's nothing. Okay, hold on. There is nothing about this. If it loads, here you go. That screams nostalgic PS1 other than gray. That's all it is the PlayStation 1 gray. The controllers. Right here on the right side of your screen. That controller that looks like it's been run over by a truck 18 million times, that's your $220 controller. Why does it cost so much? Because they added extra buttons on it because none of you are going to go pro in gaming because you all suck. So you might as well stick with the baseline controller for $80 frickin' dollars. But no.
Hey, time out. You're describing this as run over by a truck 200 times? What did you just say?
Yeah, look how like the paint's all scratched off around it. Like it looks like it's like it's vintage. I'll tell you what, the PlayStation 1 controller never was vintage like that. Like I mean, the PlayStation 1 controllers could withstand a beating. How do I know? Because I had anger issues as a kid.
Wait, that's actually terrible looking. I didn't even notice this before.
It's not good. That's $220. Why?
Wait, why? Is that meant to look like that? Oh, that's terrible.
So you're paying for extra buttons. You're paying for a vintage look. But the damn thing still looks like a PlayStation 5. All they did was slap gray on it. They colored it in the PlayStation logo. And they put 30th anniversary on the lower bottom corner. There's nothing nostalgic about this other than the frickin' color. That's all it is. It is a filthy reskin. It is a recolor of the base skin, if you will, of Kennen, of his purple tunic. It is now red. Congratulations. You just paid an extra $200 for the same damn product with no better hardware, no better nothing. You just nostalgia because it's colored gray. Guess what? Go to Walmart, get yourself a 64 pack of Crayola crowns and melt the gray on your white PlayStation 5. Save yourself $200 and make it gray yourself. Let little Timmy color on the damn thing, and then you'll be set and good to go. You saved yourself $200 frickin' dollars. But no, John looks like an idiot now because guess what? It's sold out. Why? Because you all are a bunch of consumer fill in the blanks. You guys are like, oh, it's limited edition. It's nostalgia. We have to pay an extra $200 for the same damn product that is the PlayStation 5 Pro, just in gray.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, good times. Good times.
Ask me how I really feel.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think the controller, it might include the better controller. Not 100% sure on that. But yeah, overall, you're really, the PS5 Pro, the normal edition would be fine. I mean, you know our thoughts on the PS5 Pro as well. Do I think it's necessary? Probably not. Do I think it will reach the full quality of potential that is coming out and the power it has? Probably not this generation, because we've already heard from so many developers that they still haven't tapped into the potential of the base PS5 and Xbox Series X. There's just still so much power and so much potential with the features there that has not been fully utilized this generation. So it is a little frustrating to see. I'm not going to say the demand for this. I think it's okay to have a premium unit out there. And I know you have an interjection, John. Please feel free to jump in.
I do have to make a clarification. I scrolled down. I now see why it's $200 more. And it's actually somewhat of a deal. And I hate to admit this. Damn it. Sony, I hate you because you bring out the soft side in me. It's the limited edition Pro console, the DualSense Edge wireless controller, which is the fancy one, a limited edition DualSense wireless controller as well. So you're getting two. So you're getting the Edge and the normal version. You're getting the charging station, the cover for the disk drive, the vertical stand, 2 terabytes of hard drive. Yeah. Yeah. So you're actually saving money in the long run. If they're going to charge you $220 for the controller, that looks like it got ran over by a truck. They're going to include that in there and everything else. Damn it, Sony. It's still stupid. I hate the recolor. I hate the fact that it costs more. But the fact that it actually comes with 2 controllers, one with being the high-priced one, makes a little bit more sense. But gross. Gross.
Yeah. I mean, it is a premium product, right? Like the Pro, I do not see the Pro having great sales. If I'm being honest, I do not see that console selling a ton.
It's sold out.
I think no. This particular bundle did show.
Oh.
But the Pro in and of itself, that console, I do not think is going to sell well. And even this selling, I mean, there are so many scalper versions out there already. I don't know if you've seen, there's like hundreds of them. So who knows how many are actually in the hands of players. With that being said, I do not see the Pro selling well. I think it's a premium console. The PS5 has sold well. I'm not going to say it hasn't, but the adoption rate that we have seen from Xbox One players and PS4 players has been so low. Last month, like before college football at least came out in July, 50% of PlayStation's active monthly users were still playing on PS4. That is incredibly crazy compared to any other generation we've ever seen in gaming. Xbox One, I believe, is very similar numbers, if not even higher, still on the Xbox One. So you're looking at 2 consoles that have pretty much had a hard time having players adopt the new version. And again, developers still not fully taking full advantage of what we have in the PS5 base hardware and the Xbox Series X. I think it's just a tougher sell for the PS5 Pro unless you are looking for that premium experience. If you want to be the first to potentially hit 8K, if you want to be the first to have a faster hard drive, then yeah, the PS5 Pro could be for you if you do have that expendable income. Otherwise, at this point, I think you wait for that holiday drop of the PS5 base edition. You say, hey, I'm totally fine doing that, and go for it, because you're going to look a couple of years down the road. And yes, the PS5 Pro will still be viable at that point. But the way Sony moves, and again, it's been a little slower this generation with the adoption rate, but typically you see those PS6 games, in this case PS5, games coming out a little bit sooner. So I think come next generation, depending on what that adoption rate ends up looking like, this hardware is not going to be fully utilized for a little while if we see those PS6 games come out. And again, it might get skipped over completely, right? Like maybe toward the end of this generation, we see stuff that takes full advantage of the PS5 Pro hardware. But honestly, with them being so slow taking advantage of the current baseline hardware, I just don't know if this will fully be utilized to the power level it is going to bring to the table. So we'll have to wait and see on that. We'll touch a little bit more on the state of play and then kind of keep things moving. Alan Wake 2, we got a new look at the Lake House DLC. Dragon Age The Veilguard, the Bladed Dragon trailer came out, so seeing more and more from BioWare's Dragon Age. Some really cool stuff looking on there, and it does come out October 31st for consoles and PC, I believe. Dynasty Warriors, we got to look at Origins, their newest game, which is set to come out in January 17, 2025. Fantasian Neo Dimension, that's going to be the newest Fantasian game, an RPG set to launch on PS5 in December. What else did we get in here? Hell is Us, John. This is one that stuck out to me. Kind of a cool looking game. I believe this is launching on PlayStation and Xbox. The game won't hand answers to players on a silver platter. Instead, they will need to pay attention to what they see and hear to connect the dots and make their own discoveries. So a little bit of mystery, some kind of cool combat involved in that one. I definitely think that will be a game to watch. We had a number of VR games shown throughout this showcase, as well as a number of remasters also. We talked about Horizon Zero Dawn already, but Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. We got a new trailer and release date for that, launching in December. The Lunar Remastered Collection also making its way over. Monster Hunter Wilds, this was a big one of the biggest ones of the show. It got a release date. February 28th, 2005 is when you'll be able to play Monster Hunter Wilds, the next in that legendary franchise. Pal World, with their lawsuit from Nintendo, is also making its way to PS5. That was previously announced, but now we have a full look at that and what some of the new modes coming to that game are going to be. Got some Stellar Blades content. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge get some new content, so on and so forth, guys. It was a good state of play. About 30 minutes or so long. I think about 20 to 25 games were shown. Lots of goodness, whether you're playing on PS5, PC, or other platforms. A lot of these games were third-party and will be coming to multi-platform, so be sure to check it out regardless of what you're playing on, because these games may be coming to you very soon. What else we got? We touched on the Horizon Zero Dawn diorama. We touched on the PS5 Pro 30th edition. John, I think we can make our way over to the green side of the table and talk a little bit about Xbox as we continue to move along today's show. On the Xbox section, we're going to stick with that PS State of Play theme first. These are some of the games you will be seeing coming to Xbox, which most likely means they are coming to PC, and some of which will be coming to Nintendo as well. That is Sonic and Shadow Generations. We have a nice little graphic, Johnny, you can probably throw up for those on stream with us. Up. Oh, perfect. Look, this delay, man, I'm telling you, it's really throwing me off.
Have faith in me, man. Have faith.
You know your way around, absolutely. Guys, I'm not going to list all of these, but Hell Is Us, one of the ones I kind of highlighted, will be here. Dragon Age the Veilguard, obviously coming to multi-platform. Dynasty Warriors, Monster Hunter, Wild, Fantasian. I'm surprised that one is. I didn't think that one was going to, but that will be coming multi-platform, as well as many others. In total, it is going to be 12 games that were shown during that State of Play that will be making their way to Xbox, most likely PC, and some of these probably also to the Nintendo Switch. If it will run them. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know what the original Nintendo Switch hardware can run. Some of these may hold off for the Nintendo Switch too. Next up is the Xbox Game Showcase at the Tokyo Game Show. Not going to go through every game of this as we did with the State of Play, but a few to touch on. World's Edge, the maker of the Age of Mythology Retold, has already dropped their new expansion. John, just like with Astrobot, games released, a couple weeks ago, maybe 1-2 weeks at most. We already have the first look at the expansion. This one will be very Chinese in origin. Immortal Pillars will be the name of it. The new expansion will bring the myths and majesty of China to life with an all-new pantheon of gods, myth units, god powers, and a brand new compelling campaign inspired by the stories of Chinese mythology. We have some fun-sounding ones in here. We have the goddess of creation. I believe it's Nuwa. Chiyu, the bull-headed god of war, and Nuba, restless goddess of drought. On top of many others, including Yinglong, the flying rain dragon. That sounds like hella fun to me to play as. Love some good rain. Maybe it'll increase your harvest. Who knows what it'll do. Maybe it'll make it slippery. A little mud slide for the troops. Hey-o. Take that, Zeus. But yeah, lots of fun in there. Definitely worth checking out. Don't laugh at me over there. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle coming out this December. And guess what, guys? It will be localized in Japanese as well. So for our friends in the East over there in Japan, they'll be able to play Indiana Jones in their native language from launch. Which is something that Xbox has really been criticized for, actually, in the past, has been their localization. Having games available in Chinese, Japanese, and Korean have been three in particular that they have been a little slow on. Usually a game comes out, there might be some subtitles here and there, but it seems like the voice acting is starting to catch up. Microsoft is investing more in native voice acting. So having Japanese voices at launch, I think, is a big win for the Japanese gamers over there, and really Asia in general. It shows that Xbox is starting to invest more and more in that region. Two of your favorite franchises, well, one previously, not as much anymore, but Overwatch 2 is going to match up with My Hero Academia for a nice little collaboration, bringing some new heroes and villains to the fold through some cool little skins.
That's how desperate Overwatch has gotten, is that they have to bring in. I want to know how much Blizzard paid to get My Hero Academia to partner with them for their dead game and be like, hey, it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. No, it's Todoroki, you're our only hope. Please bring Shoto and everyone else in My Hero Academia. Please bring them to Overwatch because our game sucks horribly.
There's some
Absolutely.
interesting ones, John. Tracer as Deku is a very interesting one to me. I don't know if I like that one.
I really don't care. It's just, it's not going to make me re-download this damn game. It's not going to make me care about this game. I'm just excited for the next season of My Hero. That's it.
There you go. And that's coming soon, right? October, I believe.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. I still need to catch up. I'm a little behind on that one.
Yeah, I mean, indeed. You know, All Might's probably going to be Reinhardt, if I had to guess.
I believe that's correct. Yes, it is correct.
Yeah, so
Toga as Kiriko. We have Shigaraki as Reaper.
That doesn't surprise. I like that one. I think that one's a good fit. I wonder who McCree or Cassidy or whatever name they went to.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what he's gonna be.
Oh no, that's Fairy Tale with the little cowboy guy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that one. We will have to stay tuned. Again, guys.
I would love for Blizzard to give us stats on this. How many people re-downloaded their game?
Oh. I don't think you'll see those, but that would be
I don't, because I don't think they're going to exist.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think the people that are currently still playing the game, good on you. I hate to break it to you, there are other games available to play that are a lot better than Overwatch. In fact, we'll stay in-house. War Within, the newest expansion for World of Warcraft, is 1,000,000 times better than anything Overwatch could ever dream of. How about that? Yeah. Try that one.
That's a win. That is a huge win. I mean, it's seen a nice jump in player count for World of Warcraft for sure.
Weird. It's like you listen to your players, you create good content, and they come back to your game. Overwatch could only imagine, could only dream.
I mean, honestly, if Overwatch, I think the smart move, and they will probably hate me for saying this.
Don't do it.
I think you take a bunch of time, you let the game kind of simmer out like it's currently doing, and then you say, the hell with it. Let's just do this. You bring back 6v6 and you drop PvE content all at once. I think that is the play. You have a bunch of people with the nostalgia of 6v6. Yes, now we can play with our off tanks again, whatever the case may be. You get your meta back. Then you have your PvE experience. You throw out one of those nice little Bastion videos that we had before. Give us those beautiful cinematics that a lot of people really were invested in. Show us more about the character backstory. Then I might re-download. But right now, 5v5 just is not as fun to me. I don't find the multiplayer experience that great. And I think, again, the promise of PvE to go so long as this is the reason you are getting Overwatch 2, and then to cut the PvE content, I just think that left such a bad taste in players' mouths. And now you have so many other games popping up in a similar style to Overwatch. I mean, Marvel Rivals is coming out soon, or has come out, and that one's probably going to be pretty popular. It's Marvel. Yeah, they need to find a way to buy the players' faith back. And right now, I don't think collaborations is enough to do it. Any other thoughts, or just that big spot?
No, I really don't think Overwatch deserves any more time on this show. I think we're ready to move on.
Let's move on to another Blizzard IP then. StarCraft remastered in StarCraft 2 will be landing on PC Game Pass on November 5th. Yes, guys, this is just a Game Pass launch. Yes, this will mean we get a big new insurgence of StarCraft players. But to my opinion, and I could be wrong, I think this just is once again reiterating that there are some eyes on StarCraft. We've heard rumors of a potential StarCraft 3 coming down the road. We've heard other rumors of maybe Ghosts or whatever it was called coming back, kind of that FPS StarCraft game, or maybe some other IP that will kind of dive, or some other genre rather, that will dive further into the StarCraft IP. I mean, John, you and I definitely have enjoyed our time with the RTS game here and there. I know you replayed the campaign. I feel like it was 6 months or so ago, maybe.
So good.
Yeah, really good campaign with StarCraft 2, and you have the different expansions of that as well. But this IP in general, I feel like is so rich and untapped. There is so much potential to go beyond RTS, in my opinion. And the RTS genre has definitely gone up and down here over the last couple of years. But just imagine like a Civilization game, for example. I think you could do a really cool like space-based Civilization game. I think obviously RPG elements are available. You've seen a little bit of that tapped into with Heroes of the Storm, with the different abilities characters are given. StarCraft itself has abilities involved. I mean, cinematics, we know Blizzard knocks it out of the park with. What about something a little deeper with story? Yes, there is some with the RTS, but you could follow a character story really from a first-person perspective or a third-person perspective. The IP is such an interesting, unique combination of your alien like Zerg creatures, your cool robotic futuristic Protoss, your Terran humans, maybe even throw a new race in there. That would be a little bit of a mix-up because right now you have the little triangle going on. But I don't know. I feel like there is definitely unique areas for them to tap into different genres with this.
I don't know. I remember one point in time they were exploring an MMORPG for StarCraft. Obviously, they killed it off because they didn't want to compete against World of Warcraft at the same time, their own IP. God, make StarCraft 3 happen. Please. Please, our good friend Eric at Starlight Beacon wants Solo 2 to happen. No, that's a crap idea. Make StarCraft 3 happen. Make StarCraft 3 happen. That's the real hashtag, Eric. That's the real one.
You know, it'd be fun as hell in StarCraft or like a StarCraft mode, like TFT, like an auto brawler.
Yes, that'd be great.
I feel like that would be amazing. There's so many units you could play off of that, off the different StarCraft expansions. Give me an auto brawler in StarCraft. That's what I want. I think it would play great on mobile too, and there's so much money on mobile gaming. So much potential, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you obviously have it on PC. You can throw it on console as well. But I mean, if we're looking at where the money is right now, John, mobile is definitely spending a lot of money. I mean, freaking Fortnite makes
when the mobile
Fortnite be like, I make like double your salary in a month, bro. Like, I mean, come on, like craziness.
Fortnite makes my salary in 1 hour. I don't even want to talk about Fortnite.
Fortnite, I mean, just on mobile, that thing freaking brings in crazy money on mobile. Yeah, it's absurd. Fortnite brings in big money, and I think auto brawlers have potential here, especially with the richness of Blizzard. I mean, Warcraft, you could do one too. I friggin' love auto brawlers, and TFT has got a little stale for me, and I feel like there is just a lot to be capitalized in here with some of these Blizzard IPs, like even Overwatch. Give me a freaking Blizzard auto brawler. That's what I want. That is just what I want, I think. So Blizzard, just make it happen. I mean, it's nice to meet you.
Joey, their track record of games that merge IPs together is very bad. Heroes of the Storm had so much potential.
Okay, that's your only one though, right? Like, did they do anything else?
0 for 1. Hello.
Oh,
it was a good game. They killed it. They literally killed the game. They said, you know what? We had a good thing going here, but you guys can't have fun.
For what it's worth, I think Heroes of the Dorm is still one of the best esport competitions that was out there, though.
Oh,
I thought that was phenomenal.
Win your tuition? Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Huge. I forgot they did that too. Yeah,
That's huge. That's massive.
Yeah, I think that was a fun one. So we'll see. I don't know. I think Auto Brawler would be a very fun genre for this. I think anything RPG related with StarCraft would be cool. Obviously, RTS with a StarCraft 3 would be awesome. I'd also like, I mean, I guess you play with it from the RTS angle, but something diving more into the Zerg or the Protoss. Give me a little bit more of their backstory, their lore. Again, I know it is somewhat in the campaign rather for the RTS games, but I don't know. I like that first person, that third person perspective, really diving in more to some of these characters and their stories. So we'll see what happens. I think it could be fun to keep an eye on that and potential new games to come from them as well. Some of these other games, John, we're going to test our friendships with this one. All You Need Is Help. It is a weird Eastern looking game. You kind of play as these like blocky creatures and you try to figure out different shapes and puzzles. I think it's 1 to 4 players. I think it would be a lot of fun. I believe it's on Game Pass. Yeah, here you go. A 4-player co-op game with local and online multiplayer fully supported. Find players regardless of your console thanks to cross-platform lobbies. Deep customization where players can unlock new skins for their creatures as well as accessories for their homes. There's like a lot of fun little puzzles. Obviously, basic ones of putting your blocks in the right order. Other ones of traversing different terrains, kind of using your blocky selves. It looks goofy as hell. It looks like, have you ever seen those Japanese game shows? Like any of the weird ones where like the people try to like fit themselves into like a wall as it's coming down. Or they
I
get
grew up
off
on those living in Korea, sir.
This is what it makes me think of. It's just that same general idea in a goofy game form.
You know what this looks like to me? A Tetris ripoff. These are all Tetris.
Does. It kind of feels like Tetris meets Japanese game show.
And what do you mean it's going to test our friendship, Joey? You're the one that tries to put the round peg in the square hole. It doesn't work. It does not work, Joey.
I think it'll be fun. We'll keep an eye on that, especially with the company Game Pass. What is the harm, right? I'm sure we can find 2 other people on the OTN Discord. Again, discord.me/OTN. And we can try to play some of that together. And we will test our friendship ahead of playing Cuphead, which we will eventually give into and try together. This next one I'm going to pronounce wrong, but I apologize in advance. Asur Jang is a frantic anime-style battle royale. Because we need some more battle royales, at least this one changes it up a little bit with an anime style. It's arriving in 2021 to 2025. I don't know even where that one came from. It features trendy anime-style characters who brawl it out to become victorious inside a constantly shrinking arena. Go figure, that is what a battle royale is. The trailer features gameplay showcasing the key features of Asur Jang, including its stamina-based combat system, core combat mechanics, dodge counters, aerial counters, and beyond, survival strategies, including the use of transformation and teleportation items, the shrinking terrain, and more. This fast-paced action culminates in a final showdown from which a victor emerges. So pretty much redefined battle royale for you there, guys. It's a battle royale with anime-style graphics. I mean, you guys know how John feels about battle royales. He's not the biggest battle royale fan. I am not either. I feel like the genre is starting to get a little overused.
A little.
With that being said,
we've been saying that for like 3 years now.
Time out. There are, I will say, there are not many melee-based ones. A lot of them tend to lean on the gun aspect. You have your FPS ones, your TPS ones. There's not a ton out there that use blades and melee. I think Naraka Blade Point is probably the most popular one that comes to mind. So I do think there is some movement for this one. And with it being the anime style, maybe it taps into an audience. Do I think it does well? Probably not great. But it is a little bit more unique in that sense. But again, outside of the battle royale, it doesn't really feel like it brings a lot of new mechanics. It's pretty much the same battle royale with an anime skin. This one I'm super excited for. The Atelier franchise is finally making its way to Xbox. So you have Yumiya will be the first one there. I believe it drops in March of next year. Not 100% sure on that. But if you guys are fans of that franchise or looking to be fans of that franchise, that will be the first one making its way over to Xbox. You have a new Bleach game that got announced. A Dragon Quest III HD to 2D remake got announced as well. Final Fantasy, that Square Enix partnership finally coming to fruition as we have Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, the pixelized versions, making their way on over to Xbox. I believe you can buy those as a bundle or as separate games as well.
Okay. How do you remaster pixels?
Okay. That's a great question. Let's see what they describe here. Experience the 6 incredible stories that captivated the generation. The pixel remasters include universally updated 2D pixel graphics, a rearranged soundtrack, and quality of life improvements. This is from Square Enix's relationship with Sony, John. They've realized they can tweak a few things and re-release it as a remastered version. They've also updated gameplay, however, including modernized UI, auto battle options, and supplementary extras such as a bestiary, a illustration gallery, and music player. Ah, yes, how modern.
So dumb. So dumb. Just so stupid.
Yeah, I am not the biggest Final Fantasy fan. As you know, the show is not a big Final Fantasy conglomerate of players. But yeah, if you guys are interested, I do like the classic pixel editions more than kind of the new age stuff. With that being said, it's cool that it's coming to Xbox. I like the idea of supporting it on a console that Square Enix has not necessarily supported a ton in the past. And there is a nice discount there for Game Pass members, as well as dual entitlement, which is probably one of my favorite features on Xbox that is not really well talked about. You buy the game on one platform, you get it on multiple. So if you buy it on Xbox, you also get access to it on PC. So instead of paying for both licenses, you get both together as one, which is kind of nice. So definitely worth looking into that if you're into those games. You also got Legend of Mana, the HD remaster for that one. I just tried to adjust as if I had glasses on. I'm starting to lose my mind, guys. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Evolved. We got a new trailer for that one as well. That one is coming, I believe, next year, if I remember correctly. The new game from Atlas, the makers of Persona, Metaphor Ray Fantasio, is getting a demo. That is available, I believe, on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. I want to say all three of those. And that'll be October 11th when that demo drops. So on and so forth. I'm trying to see. I don't really want to go through every single one of these games, but there are a lot. Oh, this one I do want to touch on. Threads of Time. Guys, this has been a game I've been following for a couple of years now. I have very high expectations for this game. It's kind of a 2.5D JRPG inspired by the classics. I think this game is going to be awesome. I've been kind of looking at character details for over a year now. They've had some really cool ideas come up for story and characters, and I think this is going to be a very fun one when it does eventually drop. Threads of Time is the name of that one, and I think it's multi-platform. Don't quote me on that. This article, obviously, it's on Xbox.com, so it only shows Xbox and PC, but I do think this one comes to PlayStation, probably Nintendo as well.
Is this one also with trendy anime models?
There are some trendy models, but they are pixelized. It's 2.5D.
Oh.
So it's inspired by the classics, Sean. Come on. It presents a charming party-based time-traveling adventure. The first look at the game gives a peek into the cinematic turn-based and combat-focused combat. Combo-focused combat. I was like, what descriptor is that? As well as incredible enemies such as Fenrir, the Wolf of Legends, and Rune, a massive robotic behemoth in the far future that your party will face on their journey throughout the eras of time.
I'm just trying to figure out what trendy anime models actually means.
They're all trendy, right? I mean,
Right?
come on. We like some trendy anime around here on LvLUp. And then last but not least, we love Katamari Reroll is making its way to Game Pass. Sean, I don't know if you ever played this game.
No.
Where did I play this game?
This looks like Teletubbies on steroids.
It is a crackhead game. There is extremely popular when it first came out, whatever, I think PS2 maybe. I could be completely wrong on that. But all you do is you roll around. You are a little ball and you roll around and have things stick to you. So everything you roll over eventually sticks to you and you become this giant, massive ball that rolls around like James and the Giant Peach style. It's very interesting. And I guess there's multiplayer. This looks like multiplayer. So maybe we will dive into that and roll all over the place.
We'll see whose ball's bigger.
Okay, moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Tokyo Game Show. Tokyo Games are still currently going on, so plenty more showcases. I'm sure Square Enix probably has one of their own. Capcom probably has something going as well. Lots of that will be coming out. And again, not the best to watch live because the times are a little wild for us here in the US where most of our listener base is. The Xbox Showcase, for example, was 6 a.m. our time. Did I wake up for it? Absolutely not. But I did read that beautiful article that came out later. If you guys want to catch those, there are reruns on YouTube for a lot of them as well. Quick little touch on the mobile app. So if you guys are Game Pass subscribers, you typically use a separate app from the Xbox app right now. Well, friends, it is all coming together into one app where I personally think it should have all been to begin with. So you are starting to see that transition with the Xbox Game Pass app. I believe it'll be discontinued in November with all of the features of that app being moved into the mainline Xbox app where most of the other features are at the moment. A lot of people have been asking for the store to return. Unfortunately, that is not happening as of yet. If you guys want it to return, you need to go talk to your boys Apple and Google who take way too much of a percentage off these things. And that's why most apps have removed their store nowadays, or they filter to a website where a purchase can be made. But yeah, for now, nothing of like that sort, but you can manage your install queue. You can still use your friends list and all of that, everything in today's Xbox app, plus all of the Game Pass app features as well. John, are you looking to dive into Starfield when this launches? I keep forgetting this is coming out like super soon. Starfield, not the Settled Systems, what is the name of this thing? The Shattered Space expansion is coming out very soon. I believe in like 4 or 5 days. I think like early October, end of September, somewhere around that range. I have still not finished the main story. Go figure. I know you guys are super surprised. Please hold your applause. Yeah, I still have ways to go. So I will probably not be diving in day one on that one. But I want to say you got the expansion, the season pass. I think we both did. So we should have that day one when it launches. Are you going to be launching into this one pretty soon after?
World of Warcraft is taking up a lot of my time right now. If I'm being completely
right.
honest.
Oh, done.
I'll have to try to find time because I really did enjoy the main storyline for Starfield. Joe, you wouldn't know what that is. It's actually think of it like as another side quest that just goes on a little bit longer. That actually has the story of the game attached to it. Maybe if you think of it as a side quest, Joe, you might actually finish it.
Oh my gosh.
But anywho, yeah, I thought it was great. I loved the end game. I love going through all the different new games. I went through it 7 times. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to diving back into it for sure. I'm just going to need to find time and create time. I feel a couple sick days coming on. If my boss is watching, you know what's up.
Yeah, I might actually watch you play through some of this, depending on the timing of things.
No, Joe, you can't watch me. You have to finish the damn story first.
Well, time out is self-contained. I think I will not get many spoilers. Yeah, I don't know. I think it looks cool. It has more of that like void feeling, right? You have a lot of that with War Within right now. I think this is going to feed into that void thing. The whole serpent god or whatever his name is over there. I don't know. It seems
you would
it
know
has like
who he is if you finish the story.
Wait, would I really?
Yes.
Oh, damn, that's a teaser.
Yes.
Okay, I need to finish the story. I keep getting sidetracked.
Joey, I will give you $1 if you finish the story.
I mean, it's just so hard. Like, as someone who 100% games, walking through a town and hearing a conversation, ooh, there's going to be a briefcase drop here. Ooh, I need to hunt down this bounty here. Ooh, I
Stop
need to do that.
eavesdropping
And I just
on the
see
NPCs.
new side quests, new side quests, new side quests. I'm like, Lord have mercy, Todd Howard. I don't have time for this game right now. There's just too much going on. And you wonder why I've never finished like any of the Elder Scroll games. This is the exact reason. There's just way too much. I'm overwhelmed by the number of side quests that I feel like I need to complete, even though I probably don't need to.
I'm going to change your name to Squirrel.
I do. You were talking about you being distracted earlier. With side quests, I'm 100% full on Squirrel. If there is like a corner of a map that looks like there could be a collectible hidden, my bottom has to go over there, do my little search, scroll around a little bit, check every corner, make sure there's not a collectible, and then I work my way back to the main story. So it takes a hot minute to play through a lot of these single player campaigns with me, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes I will just decide to play through the campaign if it's a multiplayer game. If it's a single player game, there's a very good chance I will be scouring every corner and hill there is to find whatever I can.
Let's see here. Joey, we're officially 1 year and 20 days past the launch of this game, and you have still not completed the story. Let that sink in.
You don't have to do me like that.
Oh, no, I'm doing you like that. I'm doing you dirty.
1
year and 20 days.
Yeah. I'm a little behind on this one.
You think?
I am indeed.
At least you made it to Neon. Did you get off the landing pad, or are you over there following the cockroaches, finding out where the briefcase drop's going to be?
I have got off Neon. I've seen every one of the main planets at this point.
Have you been to Earth?
I have not been to Earth. Is that a main planet? I've been to
that's where
all the main.
That's
cities,
where the best quests are. That's the quest line. It takes you to the moon and then to Earth and tells you how humanity even wounded up on other planets in the first place.
It had to be the Russians, right? Okay, I will finish it. I'm getting there. It's on my list. It was supposed to be my September game, but unfortunately, I'm like behind.
September
on
of last year or this year?
Okay, Sasquatch over there. Sassafras, I'm going to call you. Yes, I still have some StarCraft to play. John will probably beat Shattered Space well before I finish the main game at this rate.
Multiple times.
Yeah, probably not wrong. Oh, yeah, I wonder how they do the New Game Plus for that, if there's like extra things.
I doubt there's New Game Plus for that.
I would think there isn't either with it being self-contained, but who knows? We'll see what they come together. With that being said, let's keep on moving.
Sure.
We did start a little bit late today, so we should keep the show moving. NVIDIA's GTX 5090. This is going to be a powerful creature, John. This graphics card is set to, again, reportedly, planning to ship its upcoming GeForce RTX 5090 graphics card with 32 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory. Hardware leaker, oh, good lord. Copite 7 Kimi has published rumored specifications for this new RTX card. The 5090 as well as the 5080 today, and both cards will reportedly be more power hungry as NVIDIA looks to debut more capable next-gen GPUs. John, this is a massive card. I don't know about your computer. I think I have 16 gigabytes of RAM in mine. This puppy alone is going to have 32 gigabytes of memory. Is wild to me.
Throw this up on screen real quick. Yeah, so it's 32 gigs of virtual RAM, right? So it's good because it's going to be able to process graphics a lot quicker in higher resolution and higher detail. So that's a good thing. Essentially, your VRAM is how fast the graphics card is able to produce all the different graphics overlays and colors and whatever it's going on in the game. Just like how the RAM for your computer is how fast it can operate systems on your computer at one given time. Obviously, more RAM, the more multitasking you have along with your processor will help determine that. With this, 32 gigabytes of VRAM is very good. I guarantee you, if you don't already have a 1,000 watt power unit in your computer, you're going to want to upgrade because this thing is going to take a ton of energy. These graphics cards, Joey, do you remember when cell phones were getting smaller and everyone wanted the smallest cell phone possible?
Ah, yes, I do. The compaction.
This is not that. This is like 3 slices of Texas toast thick. And it's going to have SAG, which a lot of the newer generations of graphics cards from NVIDIA are sadly having an issue with. People are 3D printing support beams, essentially to slide under their graphics card to rest on top of the casing for their power unit or the base of their case to help hold it up and keep it from sagging. Granted, they say it's not going to do anything to your PCIe slot, but at the same time, it doesn't look good when your $2,000 graphics card is sagging like a sad piece of hot dog. So, yeah, it's massive. You're going to want to upgrade your power unit. You're going to make sure that you actually have gold certification or higher on it to help prevent surges and everything else. You want to make sure you're not going to fry your graphics card also. It's huge. It's huge. It's massive. Yeah, there you go. 600 watt spec. That's 600 watts dedicated specifically for your graphics card. That's a lot.
That smaller one is 400 watts as well. That RTX 5080.
That's
those are big boys. I think my whole power supply is like 750.
Yeah. Right. So like you don't want your power supply to be at its limit. You want there to be overhead. Right. So your system takes power. Granted, not a lot of power, but it does take power. And the more you add to it, the more RAM, the higher performing processor, what kind of motherboard you have, all requires different wattage. So that's something that if you're going to be building your own PC, obviously you're well aware that you need to pay attention to the watt requirements for everything. But also if you're going to be buying pre-built, you want to make sure that you're getting a power unit that's not going to bottleneck and really limit your system and possibly fry it. You know, that's something that can happen. That's just something you just need to pay attention to. 400 and 600 watts, absurd. My graphics card right now, I believe I have a, I believe I'm in a 2080 now, and that's 250 watts. You know, so we've almost doubled that for the economy version, almost, if you will, the mid-level for the 50 series. And then if you want to go up to the high end, you're at 600 watts. Again, that's ballpark of how much it's going to take. Obviously, you do something that has heavier graphics involved in it, it may go over 600. Those are just the recommended. You definitely want to have more than just the recommended. We all know what it's like playing a game with recommended specs. It's not always a great experience. You always want to have more than the recommended.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys are looking at this, again, as John said, check those power supplies especially. This will probably have a pretty big price tag to it as well, I'd imagine. NVIDIA, these new graphics cards are typically not cheap. So lots of stuff to keep in mind there, from power supply to bank account budgets as you check into these new NVIDIA cards. Ubisoft has some updates. These ones not so great for a lot of things. They've canceled their exhibition at the Tokyo Game Show. A lot of this, and again, it's mostly speculation here, but I think it's probably pretty obvious speculation. They've had a lot of negative critique from the Japanese audience on Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is based in Japan. A lot of the stuff has been said to be not as factually accurate as the Japanese would like with the game itself. Others have come out and said it is somewhat accurate. So there is, I mean, one, it is a fantasy game, right? Like, we are looking at a made up area. Yes, they do try to draw from a number of histories within that region to make up these Assassin's Creed games, but there is room. It is a fantasy game, so there is some kind of room for adjustments per se. But I think Ubisoft's marketing has been of how true it is to certain traditions, and I think the Japanese have been offended by that. So instead of being there on the show floor, they decided they are not going to be at the game show, mainly probably to avoid that criticism and potential unrest and everything there with the audience. So that decision might make sense. Again, super disappointing for those who were excited to see Ubisoft there, especially with the last minute cancellation the day before the event. But in the end, it does look like that is the decision they have made. On top of that, they've also made the decision to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows. Originally supposed to release, I believe, January 2025, now dropping a few weeks back to February 14th, 2025. It's a nice little Valentine's Day surprise right around that time. A main reason for this, and we do see a little bit more of it in an internal memo from the head of Ubisoft, the main reason is to make sure everything is polished and ready to go. They're looking at a few different things. One of those is obviously graphical polish. The other is reducing potential hiccups at launch. We've seen a number of AAA games kind of launch with a bunch of hiccups everywhere as some of these games have come out. One of the ideas here behind this delay is to hopefully reduce a lot of those, mainly PC. I feel like PC games have really had a tough time this year. I think of like or maybe it was last year. Star Wars Jedi Survivor was very rough on PC at launch. The Last of Us was another one that had a very rough launch on PC. So we've seen a number of games that have done pretty well on console at launch and have been a little buggy on PC. I think one of the ideas here from Ubisoft is to clean that up front to hopefully reduce some of those issues, whether it be on console or computer in the end. So I'm okay with this delay, especially with only a couple weeks. Not like it's a 6-month delay. It's not like it's a full year delay, like a lot of what we've seen kind of during these COVID times. I can wait a few extra weeks for this one, but I am excited to explore when it does eventually make its way out. The other things we saw in this was Star Wars Outlaws failed to meet expectations. Unfortunate for that, as Star Wars games typically do pretty well. This one did fall a little bit shy, which I'm super bummed about, mainly because it is finally a Star Wars game that's not Jedis and lightsabers. We get something a little bit different with bounty hunters. And again, kind of boring that it did miss expectations. I've had a fun time with the game. I honestly have not played a ton with it yet. I know our friends at Starlight Beacon Transmissions, John, I know you've been in chat with them a few nights. They seem to enjoy it from the little bit I've heard from them. I know a lot of people typing in chat over there about the game, the different screenshots they've taken, the different syndicates and stuff they've aligned with, and the way they're kind of playing out the storyline. Seems like a pretty cool game. Again, I haven't had much time to dive in myself as of yet. But I do expect that one to hopefully continue to make sales as it goes down the line closer to the holiday season. And then last but not least, they are rethinking season passes, giving everyone access to the Assassin's Creed game at launch. I like this move, John. I think some season passes are not bad, right? I like the way Xbox has done them with the Game Pass deals, where you get the little early access, but the main buy point is getting the expansions later on. And with it being on Game Pass, it's just a small upgrade price. With some of these other games where you're looking at buying the full game with season passes, I mean, Star Wars Outlaws was what, like $120 to get the full collector's edition or whatever of the game?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's a lot of money for just the content stuff. And back in the day, you got like physical art books and statues and all of this. And some games still did it. Like Spider-Man 2, you got the like 17 inches of Venom or whatever it was called. But overall, not many games are doing the physical nowadays. It's like a digital art book and this and that. And for the most part, you're really just paying for that season pass, which in a lot of cases did not shake out to be well worth, at least for the price point that people are putting out. I think the Game Pass one is a little bit of an exception because you're not paying for the game. You're only paying the $25 or $30 or whatever to upgrade for it. So I don't know. I like the idea of them rethinking this. I also hate early access for the most part. I don't like closing that behind doors. It drives me crazy with a lot of games. Like Call of Duty has done it in the past with their deals with PlayStation. Like, play a week early or play the campaign early. And it seems unnecessary because then all those players who are buying the game at launch get spoiled on the campaign or fall way behind in multiplayer. I'm not a big fan of early access. I'm not a big fan of early access. I like the season pass add-on. I'm fine with early access going away completely personally. Any other thoughts on early access and season passes?
I like early access.
You do.
I've paid for early access quite a bit. I didn't like the early access for Outlaws. I thought the early access being in the premium tier for how much they were charging, I thought was a little ridiculous. And if it's early access like 2 or 3 days, that's stupid. But like if you get a week early access, I think that's a little bit more doable. It also really depends upon the type of game, right? So like if you're an EAFC player, formerly known as FIFA, getting a head start on your Ultimate Team, being able to get cards in your catalog to flood the markets when the game fully releases, and being able to get certain cards before that ridiculous stock market that is the Ultimate Team's transfer market. Decides that Ronaldo, who plays in Saudi Arabia in a Bush League competition, has stats out the wazoo, is worth 80.7 million coins or whatever it is. So, yeah, I mean, I think there are some advantages, but again, you have to pay for it. And I think that's completely fine in some cases. Or if you're a big enough fan of the franchise and you just want the game early, I think it can be justified. But a lot of times, like single player games, I really don't see the point of early access unless the benefits that you get for it are really out of this world. And generally, if it is, it's only $10 or $20 more than the base price, not like $80 more.
Yeah, agreed. Again, I am not the biggest early access fan, but I do like the season passes if they do give that extra content at a little bit of a discount. So different people have different opinions on that. Would love to hear it. Again, discord.me/OTN or find us over on X
You know,
at OTN Media.
fun fact, Joey, you did get early access for Starfield.
I did.
And funny
Did it help
enough,
me
you
finish?
still have not made it through the main storyline, and you had a head start on it.
And I have the expansion ready to go too, which
so
I'm
weird.
absolutely not ready for. I know,
You're,
right?
you will
Fun
never
fact.
make it there. You will be flying to the planet and
Whoa,
be like,
whoa! That is a big claim.
you'll
there,
never make
sir.
it there. You're
Never.
every single planet, every single random space station, every single little floating debris, you're gonna be like, oh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece
for
of
real.
candy.
If I were to
Ooh,
go to
piece
every
of
planet,
candy.
I think that would be more than a lifetime worth of experience. There's a little too much of that out there. But I do like, I think one of the things, and again, I don't want to spend a ton more time on StarCraft, but I do love that they are going with different, like, full-on perspectives of a certain planet. Like, give us new big cities every time, every expansion. Give us one each year. Make it like WoW, right? Like, you get a cool expansion that really expands upon the game. Obviously, WoW takes a little bit more time than a year. But if Starfield gives us, like, a fully fleshed out planet every year, give us that new expansion, I am 100% in for buying it. I probably would buy it even if I haven't gotten to that point yet, just because I like the idea and I want to support the idea. But hopefully by that point, I will make my way there. Okay, guys, John is shaking his head. You know what? I will be done with the main story by the end of the year. I'm putting a time limit on
No,
myself.
there's no chance. There's no
I'm
chance.
putting a time limit on myself.
There's no chance. There's no chance. Joey, what are you doing for Christmas?
I am playing Starfield.
No, you're not. Where are you traveling to?
Florida.
Okay. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Where are you traveling to? Virginia Beach?
Probably.
Okay. So there, your two major times off are already taken up by travel. What are you doing next month?
Touche.
I'm coming at you. What are you doing next month?
I am sitting here and playing Starfield.
No, you are not. You are doing
I believe I
everything
am.
but. There are too many indie games out there. And if My Hero Academia is coming out next month, you're going to be watching that or fall behind and then binge watch, which guess what? Takes up more time then. There's no chance. There is no chance you get through Endgame 1 by the end of this year.
Oh my gosh.
No chance.
I kind of want to make some kind of bet, but I don't know what to bet on.
Whatever you want to lose on.
Oh my gosh, I know. We will revisit this on next week's episode as we come up with a fun little game for that. Because who knows? Yeah, I've been talking about finishing this game for a year, as John said. So his odds are definitely in his favor. But we'll see. I'm going to try to put it together. And this new expansion definitely seems fun. So I'm hoping to dive into it at some point in the near future. But we will have to wait and see on that. For now, John, we have one more piece of content to touch on, and that is Sonic Central from our buddies over at Sega. This was the fourth broadcast, the 23rd of September, for those who were paying attention. We got a new Sonic Rumble trailer. We have some new characters for Sonic Dash Plus, and Sonic Forces Speed Battle. Shadow is making his way over to Sonic Dream Team as a playable character. I don't even know what this one is. Chaos Tales? I did not watch the showcase, in case you guys can't tell. Super Neo Metal Sonic Boss Battle in Sonic Speed Simulator.
Wait.
We have a Shadow Costume DLC coming to Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. What's that?
Where are you talking? Where is this at on this page?
All the way at the bottom. You got to make your way down. Content of various Sonic characters in 2 Point Museum for those who play those 2 Point games. 2 Point Campus was the most recently released. The new one is going to be 2 Point Museum, which will now feature Sonic characters. We have new Lego sets, new Sonic merch, Sonic at Topgolf. I don't know what that means, but that sounds like a lot of fun. DCX Sonic partnership announced, which will last through 2025 and at least 2026. New Sonic X Shadow Generations trailer and a Sonic X Generations Dark Beginnings release for each of those episodes as well, which will be the new show coming out soon. Get all that?
Sure.
Lots of Sonic, guys. Hey, if you like Blue Hedgehogs, this is definitely a great place to be for you. Some really good stuff coming on there. Okay, good times. Tokyo Game Show, again, that's still going on. So 9/26 to 9/29 on that one. The Tokyo Game Show will continue on its way. And then 9/28 at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we have the Minecraft Live Show. So if you guys are Minecraft players looking to see what kind of new content is coming to that one, that will be coming up pretty soon as well. And again, unfortunately, I did not pull the free Epic Games for this week, but Epic Games do free, usually a game, maybe 2 games some weeks. here and there out there. So if you guys want to check out what is free from Epic, make sure to do so there as well.
I apologize. I'm a child.
It's okay. It's all good.
He said doo-doo.
Oh my gosh, that's what we're getting out of this. You are too much, I tell you. Lots of goodness indeed. With that, John, I think we can wrap up today's show. Again, still trying to get our timing back over here on YouTube. We did have some delays up front with OBS, but we did eventually make our way over here with the live show. Thanks for those who tuned in with us and those listening live down the line on our podcast, on your podcatcher of choice. Hope you enjoyed the show as well.
All right, Nation, that's going to do it for this edition of LvLUp Live. But before you go, make sure you follow the show on YouTube to catch the next episode of LvLUp Live. If you listen to the show on our podcast feed, please do leave us a review. The LvLUp podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and your podcatcher of choice. Just look us up. We are there for you. We would love to hear from you. We love to hear from our community so much. There are multiple ways for you to reach out to us. Joey, what are some of those ways?
Absolutely, guys. You can head over to Twitter/X and Facebook and find us at OTN Media. You can also find us on Instagram and Threads at OTN_media. Last but not least, hit us up with a follow over on YouTube. That channel is going to be OTN Media _ at the moment. You can find us over there for our channel. It's a pretty new channel, so we're trying to get some new subscribers. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video if you watch it over here on YouTube as well. And then Discord, obviously, join the conversation with us, guys. We love to chat, love to play games. You can play that fun little Japanese game show looking game with us. Discord.me/OTN.
All right, make sure to tune in next week. That is Thursday, October 3rd. Oh my gosh, October's around the corner. As we continue to cover the latest and greatest in gaming news, do your ears and eyes a favor, hit that sub and follow button and a thumbs up on the like. See what I did there. To know when the next episode of LvLUp is ready for your entertainment pleasures. We'll catch you all next week. Enjoy your weekend, and remember, be nice to your fellow gamers online. And as always, level up.